Nah. Rise up. I fell off, then I bounced back in. Lost my way, then I locked back in. They can't use my fall against me now. Most High brought me out somehow. I was down, now I stand back tall. Real ones get back up when they fall. I came back, I ain't fold nor quit. Now I'm back in the fight, legit. Yeah, I got tired of fighting myself. Pain stacked up all on the shelf. Smile outside, but hurt inside. Still had pressure, I tried to hide. Enemy thought I lost my fire. Thought I fell and got retired. But the righteous rise again. I got back and fought again. I had nights I felt defeated. Spirit low and mentally weakened. But I prayed and got my mind right. Now I move with my eyes right. Had to cut off their way too. Everybody can't grow with you, and I'm sharper than before. Ain't the same man anymore. Yeah. I fell off, then I bounced back in. Lost my way, then I locked back in. They can't use my fall against me now. Most High brought me out somehow. I was down, now I stand back tall. Real ones get back up when they fall. I came back, I ain't fold nor quit. Now I'm back in the fight, legit. If you slipped and come back home, you ain't gotta stay lost alone. Everybody done took their hits, still got time to repent and fix. Don't let shame destroy your walk. Get back up and fight your thoughts, cause the enemy love when men quit. That's exactly how people get strict. I was low, but I climbed back out. Now I speak what I learned about, and the same grace shown to me can pull you out and set you free. Now I move like I got purpose. Pain made me stronger on purpose. You can hate, but it won't stick, cause I came back built from me. Yeah, I fell, but I ain't stayed up. I broke, but I ain't died there. I fell, but I ain't stayed there. I broke, but I ain't died there. I fell off, I fell off, I fell off, I fell off. I fell off, then I bounced back in. Now I'm stronger cause I fought through sin. You can't weaponize my past no more. Most High open back that door. If I came back then you came too. Truth still real and the word still true. Now I'm back in my faith, legit. On my own and I'm built for this. Built for this. Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Once again, Shabbat Shalom. Sister Dorothy's in the building. She says Shabbat Shalom. Yashua Lamashkapah, Barakatah. All praises be to the Most High. Once again, on this beautiful Shabbat, let's give all praises be to the Ancient of Days, the giver of life, the taker of life, our Father, your Father, Yahweh, and his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to all of the Akim out there, all of the Akwat Yam scattered to the four corners of the earth, brothers and sisters, wherever you are, we say shalom, peace and blessings to you. I know. Please do the ministry a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit the bell so you can be notified when we go live. And if you believe in your heart, mind, and soul that the message is edifying, please share it with someone. Please share so our brothers and sisters can be edified out there. Today, we know what day it is out there in this world that we live in, right? We know exactly what day it is. And it's a big celebration for this world, this land that we live in today. You see, I got on mines right here. You know, I don't know if you can see, but yeah, I got on mines right here. You know, anyway, like I say, it's a big celebration for them people today. But we're going to be going into our brother Joseph today, right? That's who we're going to be talking about today. I don't believe that he gets enough credit. I don't believe that they talk about it enough. They always writing books about Egypt, talking about Egypt and all these different things, but they never really go into about Joseph, right? Who wasn't an Egyptian, right? But he rose up to power, just like a Pharaoh. So let's dive into the scriptures today on this beautiful Shabbat. Once again, the water for everybody joining in, and it will join in at a later time. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. If you have your Bibles, turn with me there. If you don't have your Bibles, you can see it on the screen. Go to the book of Proverbs. Psalms, Salakia, Psalms 31. That's what I'm looking for. Psalms chapter 31. And I was talking about this the other day about praising the Most High, right? How we don't praise him enough, how we don't praise the Father enough. Psalms 31:1. It says, to the chief musician, a psalm of who? David. In thee, O Yahweh, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in thy righteousness. So who did David put his trust in? He put his trust in the Father, the Most High Yahweh. And it says, we all know that the Bible says David had a heart after the Most High. We know this. And he put his trust in the Most High. It says, let me never be ashamed. So you should never be ashamed to stand up for the word of the Most High and his only begotten Son in this earth, because he will deliver you no matter where you are or what you're going through. And we're going to see that through Joseph when we get there. Verse 2, bow down thy ear to me, deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong, what? Rock. Did a class on this a few days ago where we was talking about the rock and how now the Christianity church or Catholic, I'll just say Catholic, Catholicism, how they said that now that Peter is the rock. Well, you telling me Peter took the place of the Most High Yahweh? Because from what we read, he is the rock, the strong rock, for a house of what? Defense to save me. For thou art my what? Rock. David continues to say this. That's the basis of the foundation. That's the rock that we build off of. And my fortress. Therefore, thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net that they had laid. Like these people, they have laid these snares and traps for so-called Israelites. He's saying, remove me out of those nets. And he could do that. Once again, we're going to see all that with Joseph, even when he was in that captivity. Those nets, those things that were set up by Satan, he was pulled out. And then he says that the Most High is his what? Strength. He is your strength. He is your deliverer. He's your redeemer. He's your rock. But they attribute all these things to who? Hamashiach Yahushai. Once again, I'm not taking nothing from the only begotten Son, but the only begotten Son came in his Father's name. So he brought those things because those are the things of who? His Father. Those are titles of who? His Father. Verse 5. Into thy hand I commit my rakah. Thou hast redeemed me, O Yahweh, Allah, of truth. I've hated them that regarded lying vanities, worthlessness, but I trust in the Most High Yahweh. That's who he puts his trust in. I will be glad and rejoice in thy mercy. For thou hast considered my trouble. Thou hast known my soul and my adversities, and hast not shut me up in the hand of the enemy. Thou hast set my feet in a large room. He's letting us know as long as you put your trust in the Most High Yahweh, you'll be okay. He's going to take care of you. You're his people. He loves you. All you have to do is put your trust in the Most High Yahweh. And that's why I say I believe that they don't really talk about Joseph enough, because he is one who really trusted in the Most High Yahweh. You know. Now here we go in Luke chapter 23, right? This is Luke chapter 23. New Testament. We jump from Psalms to Luke in the New Testament, speaking about the death of our brother, Hamashiach Yahushua, the only begotten Son, the Messiah. It's kind of crazy today. I don't know about where you guys are, but it was sunny all this week. And now today, it's like super cloudy, hazy, like an ugly day. But it was sunny all this week, beautiful all this week. And then today, it's like an ugly day. Maybe that's a sign. Luke 23 and 44. It was about the 6th hour, and there was darkness all over the earth until the 9th hour. So it was darkness all over the earth until the 9th hour. So a few hours went by, and it was darkness in the earth. And the sun was darkened, and the veil of the temple was rent in the midst. The reason it was dark is because he was the light that entered the earth. The reason the sun was darkened was because the sun was given for light to the earth in representation. That's why I said the day. So when this was happening, it was taking the light out of the world, and it was showing it that you can actually see with your own eyes that the light that was in the world was being taken out of the world at this particular time. Verse 46. And when Yahushua had cried with a loud voice, he said, Abba, into my hands I commend my spirit. And having said this, or thus, he gave up the spirit, the ghost, the Rakah. Notice he's saying the same thing right here that David is saying in the book of Psalms, where we just read 31. David said, I commit my spirit, or my Rakah, into your hands. Hamashiach Yahushua that's hanging on the tree is saying the same thing right here. Just as David did, Hamashiach Yahushua did. Just as Stephen did. When he was talking to Hamashiach Yahushua and the Father, he said, I commit my soul to you. Please take me. Please accept me. So as many things within the Bible that we see righteous men, and somebody might say, well, David wasn't righteous. Yes, he was. Because the Bible says out of the whole time, he sinned one time in his life. I don't know if you could say that. I know I can't say that. The Bible said his only sin was with Bathsheba, and of course the Hittite. That was his only sin that he ever committed in the Most High's eyes. One sin. It was tied together. Yeah, he took the man's wife, this, that, and the third. He had him murdered, all that. All that's tied together. So one sin. It says in 47, now when the centurion saw what was done, he glorified who? The Most High, saying, certainly this was a what? Righteous man. A righteous man. So you can't tell me David wasn't a righteous man, because he was after the Most High's heart. Hamashiach Yahushua was the same thing. But we have something that's put against us, you know, that people don't want to hear and know the truth. And sometimes when you come and you tell people the truth, they get mad at you. But you can't get mad at me as an individual, because I'm just here to bring forth the truth that was laid down for us. Sometimes when they hear other people say it or see other people say it, it's not the same thing. Mayana Pasha, she says, Shabbat Shalom, Mashkapa, call hello, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Mashiach Yahushai, and Shalom, Aqua Dorothy, Khan, the water for being here, right? So sometimes when you hear other people say it, because they be like, you know, oh, they preaching hate, or they preaching this, or they preaching that. Well, no, that's what the Bible says. So I'm going to let someone else say it for a small period of time. I'm not going to let the whole thing play, but I'm going to let a nice portion of it play. So you can see that it's not just me. It's not just the rest of the Akim. It's just not the rest of the sisters and brothers, but even a so-called Edomite, so-called Caucasian is telling you the honest truth of what's written in the actual Bible. Now, you could deny it. You could be mad. You could unsubscribe. You could put a thumbs down. You could do all those things. But these are the honest truths that we're going to show and that we're going to tell. So I'm going to play a small portion, and then we're going to come right back and continue in the scriptures. Let me pull that up real quick. Now, this is a Edomite, right? Saying it on national TV. Let me pull it up. Here we go.
God himself speaking to Moses, and what does he say?
Write this for a memorial in the book, and recount it in the hearing of Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven.
And Amalek was a whole group of people descended from this person named Amalek, the Amalekites. And so the Lord is saying, you know, write this in the book, and I'm going to utterly not only blot out the people, but even any remembrance of them. They're going to be so gone when I'm done with them. Go on.
And Moses built an altar and called its name, "The Lord is my banner." For he said, because the Lord has sworn, the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation.
So this is rather odd to think of the Lord, who elsewhere in Scripture is said to be love. What's he doing wiping out these Amalekites? We'll read some more scriptures about this. To turn to the right, I sorted these into Bible order rather than logical order, but if you turn to the right to Deuteronomy, which comes up in 3 books to the right, we'll go to chapter 7. And we'll look for verse 6.
Brothers and sisters, listen closely right here. Listen to what he's saying. And then after he states what he's going to say, we'll dive right back into the scriptures and move along with the lesson. But I just wanted to be stated that nobody can point out and say, hey, this is what they are saying. It's untrue. It's not the truth. They're lying. No, you see it right here. You see the truth right here. He's telling you what is really written. And he is not an Israelite. So he is telling you what is actually written. Being honest.
This is the other side of it. So the Lord is against the Amalekites, and who is he for?
For you are a holy people to the Lord your God.
This is to the Israelites.
The Lord your God has chosen you to be a people for himself, a special treasure above all the peoples on the face of the earth.
You see, it just seems like a tilt that some of the people are better than other people. So there's a chosen people who are better people, and the other people are not as good. If you look in verse 1 there, you'll see a list of people who are not as good. The Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. They're no good. The Israelites are good. They're a holy people, and they're special to the Lord. So it seems like it's just privileging one group over another, doesn't it? And saying, I want to completely wipe out those people who I hate, and I want to preserve these people who I love. Turn to the right, if you would, we'll go through Joshua and Judges, get to 1 Samuel. We're just blazing through these different things. Just a few scriptures on each breach. 1 Samuel 15, verse 3. These are instructions that the Lord sends to Samuel, the prophet, to give to Saul. So again, this is originating from the Lord. Now pick up verses 2 and 3.
Thus says the Lord of hosts, I will punish Amalek for what he did to Israel, how he ambushed him on the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and do not spare them.
Well, what do you mean? Like, say nasty things to them? What do you mean?
I mean, kill both man and woman, infant and nursing child, ox and sheep, camel and donkey.
Wow. This is a direct command from the Lord to kill not only men and women, but little nursing children. And if that's not enough, just go ahead and kill the animals as well. Utterly destroy everything and don't spare them at all. So you see what I mean? And Scripture has a number of things like this where it's, these are the good people. The Lord loves those people. Even though this is the same God who gave a commandment about thou shalt not kill, this is a commandment saying thou shalt kill. Doesn't say thou shalt utterly kill. Don't regard any sort of normal rule about, spare the children or anything like that. No, get them all.
So you see, I'm going to stop right there. We can come back to it, but I'm going to stop right there. We're going to go to Scripture. Now, people can't get mad when you read the Bible because that's what it says in the Bible. That's exactly what it says. We're only reading what it states, but when we read it, for some reason, people get mad at us, and then they say, you guys are preaching hate. No, we're not preaching hate. We're just telling you what's in the Bible. The Most High has a chosen people. Those chosen people are Israel, and he hates other nations for what they did. To who? His children of Israel. So I don't know how everybody now has come to the conclusion that they just say, oh, well, no, it's all done. It's all over with. And now we just believe in Hamashiach Yahushua, the only begotten son. Here it is right here again, as I always bring out Psalms 83 and 2. It says, don't you hear the uproar of your enemies? Don't you see that your ignorant enemies are rising up? They devise crafty schemes against your people. They conspire against your precious ones. Who is his precious ones? Israel. They say, or Salakia, come, they say, let us wipe out Israel from being who? A nation. We will destroy the very memory and existence. Now, somebody might say, well, hold on, wait a minute. We have a nation, this Israel. They call themselves Israelis. They live over there. They're fighting right now. They wear the little top hats. They do all those things. Well, if that's the case, and those are the Israelites, the Bible, that's what is prophecy, is telling you right here that there will be no more memory of those people. But yet they're there in the land right now. Then that means the Bible would be a lie. Or are those people not really the Israelites? And the Israelites that really are 100% Israel, nobody knows who they really are. There's no memory of their what? Existence. Why? Because these nations that the Most High hates, that he came against, they have came together, like in verse 5, and said, yes, this was a what? Unanimous decision. They signed a treaty. What does that sound like they did? How many times have these people signed treaties? How many times? Didn't they buy Manhattan for like $25? If I'm not mistaken, somebody can Google that. When they signed the treaty, I think it was $14 or like $25. They actually bought Manhattan for like 20 something bucks. And then it goes on to tell you the nations that did this: the Edomites, the Ishmaelites, the Moabites, the Hagarites. Now, it's not even going into the nations that the gentleman just got through speaking about, right? The Amalek, here they go right here. So these same people that came together in this decision to wipe out the memory of a certain people, here they are right here in Psalms 83, making a treaty against who? The children of Israel. And it's not just one nation, it's a multitude of nations. You have the Amorites, the Moabites, Hysteria. They all have came against who? Israel. So this is why it says in the Bible, let's go to 1 John real quick, chapter 4. This is why it says in the Bible in 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. Yeah, somebody can get up there and you can go to a class on Saturday on the Shabbat. You can go to a class on Sunday, first day of the week. You can do all that. But are you receiving the truth? And that's what's most important. So right here in 1 John chapter 4, verse 1, it tells you, dear friends, do not believe everyone who claims to speak by what? The Rakah, the Spirit. You can't believe everyone. Just because a man gets up on a pew or a platform or social media or whatever people are on today, you can't just believe anyone's claim, brothers and sisters. This is what John told us. Why? Because you need to read the Bible. You need to read the word of the Most High so you can have an understanding of who you are truly serving. And that's why it says in John chapter 4 that people are serving who they don't know. They claim that they're serving the Son. And this is why the Son said it in Matthew 7:21. Many people on that day will say to me, Master, Master. He's going to say, I don't know you. I never knew you. You never knew me, and I never knew you. Why? Because they're believing a different spirit. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to know the truth. But the Bible says in John 8:31 that the truth will set you free. Now, I didn't go to all of those verses, but yes, I did say them. If you're writing them down, or you can pause the video, or you can go back to those verses right now that I just spoke, and that's exactly what those verses say. I believe actually John 8:31 says, if Yahushua says, if you continue in my word, then you will be my disciples. And then 32, I believe, says the truth shall set you free, right? Not reading it verbatim because I don't have it in front of me, but, you know, that's pretty much what it says. So in 1 John 4, once again, dear friends, do not believe everyone who claims to speak by the Rakah, the Spirit. You must what? Test. How do you test? How do you test? Well, you test by hearing and then by knowing the very word. So when somebody says something, you say, uh-oh, wait a minute. That's not what it actually says. That's not what it says. Not that's not what it means, but that's not what it says. And that's why I showed that clip. And like I said, we could go back to it if you want to, because he goes on to bring out a multitude of different things. But he's letting it be known that the Most High Yahweh has a chosen people. And there's some other nations that have done wrongful things to his children, the apple of his eye. So it says you must test them to see if the Rakah they have, the spirit they have, comes from the Most High. For there are many false what? Prophets. See, people like to throw that term out very loosely and say, oh, he's a false prophet. Oh, he's not telling the truth. Oh, he's preaching a different thing. Oh, he's preaching lies. Really? Really? Are we? Because everything we say, we can take you to where the verse is, what it actually says. And this is not our opinion. This is not something that we're breaking down to get our conclusion. No, the conclusion is right there in the very word. You read it and you see exactly what is being said. But that's not the case. People are coming to their own conclusion. And this is how false prophets have entered into what? The world. And the Most High does things like this. See, the things that they don't really talk about Joseph, like we about to get into, is that Joseph, what did he do when he was in Egypt? What, before he even got to Egypt, what happened? Can anybody tell me what happened to Joseph before he even got to Egypt? What did he have, brothers and sisters? What did he have? Sister Dorothy said they stole. Yeah, they did. Definitely. That's exactly what they did. What did he have? Well, for those who didn't know or don't know, Joseph had a dream. He had a dream, and he went to his brothers. Let me go to Deuteronomy real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 13. He had a dream, and when he had the dream, he went and told his brothers, and he went and told his fathers. Everybody was upset with Joseph because he had this dream, and in his dream, they were all going to bow down to him. And his brothers were really upset, right? So it says, let me see. Let me get the King James because I don't want to. Or we could go back. It doesn't matter. This is Deuteronomy chapter 13, and I'm just going to start at verse 1. Now, remember, I said that Joseph, what happened? When it all started and kicked off with Joseph, they already had a dislike for him. But then when he had the dream and he came and told his brothers that they were going to bow down, they were like, what? So they really went in on him. So Deuteronomy 13:1, it says, if there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, brothers and sisters. And the reason I'm bringing that out is because today, especially in today's time with social media, so many people get on social media and say that they had a dream, that they had a vision, or they were almost dead, and then they seen the Most High, or they seen the sun, or they seen hell, or they seen angels, or they seen this or seen that. And the Bible tells you right here, if there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or wonder come to pass, meaning it happens, it come true. They told you something was going to happen, and it did happen. It did, brothers and sisters. As the Bible said, it came to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other deities, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. So somebody came to you and said, hey, let's go to this church. You know, they really praising the sun over here. They really praising, you know, you don't have to have your hair wrapped. You don't have to worry about mixed fabric. You don't have to worry about eating pork, crab, and shrimp and lobster. You don't have to worry about Hebrew. You don't have to worry about the 12 tribes of Hebrew. You don't have to worry about bowing down the knee. You don't have to worry about none of these things. At this church that you come to over here, it just says, come as you are. And they will receive you. The universal church. Come as you are. Right? That's all they ask. Come as you are. The Most High tells you in verse 3, thou shalt not hearken unto the words of who? That prophet. Why? I already read to you in 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. Follow me, brothers and sisters. We in the car, we ride, and just follow me. He says what? Test every spirit. That means everybody you come across, especially a man that says that he is a man of the Most High, or a woman that says she's a woman of the Most High. Brother or sister, you have to test that rakah, especially if they're telling you things, to test it and see what, if they're telling you what, things that are true, because there are many false people in the world that are leading people astray and telling lies. It's hard to tell someone the truth. Somebody asks you, hey, do you think I look fat? You like, nah, you look okay. No, you should tell them, no, you look fat. You know you fat. I'm not going to lie to you to appease you to make you feel better. Hey, how do you think this dress look on me? It doesn't look good on you. It's quite ugly, matter of fact. That's what you shouldn't wear that. If we were more honest with ourselves and people, a lot of things that go on in the world would not happen. But we lie. And then people call it little white lies, or lies just to get over. But when we read the scripture in the epistles, it tells us in John 8:44 that he was a murderer, he's a liar. Who? The devil. So everyone that lies, those things come from who? The devil, the serpent, Satan. So once again in verse 3, thou shalt not hearken unto the words of the prophet, or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahweh your power proveth you. So the Most High have set you in a position that he wanted to prove you. Remember, the Most High puts us in these predicaments, in these certain situations, just as he did our brother Joseph, to what? Prove you. Look at all the situations, and we're going to go over a few of them with our brother Joseph when he went down to Egypt. How many situations he put him in to prove him before he what? Exalted him right to Pharaoh. And the Most High is telling you right here, he may send somebody to you. And you may have had a dream and you tell that person about a dream, or they tell you they had a dream about you. And they may tell you something and it come to pass and it comes true. And now you start to kind of believe in what these people or what this person is saying, because what they told you came true, but they kind of not telling you the truth about the Most High. They kind of lead you to what? Catholicism, or they kind of lead you to Buddhism, or maybe Islam or something like that. But because they told you about this dream, or they, revealed something to you and it came to pass, and they like, hey, I'm telling you, you should become a Muslim instead of, being an Israelite, or, it's better over here and this and that. The Most High has put you in that predicament, in that situation. He's trying to prove you. And it tells you right here, when I highlight it right here, he says to know whether you love Yahweh, your power, with all your heart and with all your soul. So he will put you in certain situations to see if you're going to bend, if you're going to give in, if you're going to say, well, it's not that bad to, if I switch to Islam, they still say they serving the Most High of Abraham. Oh, it's not that bad to serve Buddha. Oh, it's not that bad to worship Mishnah. As the Pope said, right? That's what the Pope said. All religions should come together. We all serving the same one. No, we're not. Verse 4, he says, ye shall walk after Yahweh your power and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and cleave unto him. That's what it says, and cleave unto him. Verse 5, and that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he have spoken to turn you away from the Most High Yahweh your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, Mizraim, and redeemed you. But I thought Moses brought us out. So who brought us out? Moses or the Most High? Moses was just a vessel that he used to bring out the children of Israel and redeemed you out of the house of what? Bondage. To thrust thee out of the way which Yahweh thy power commanded thee to walk in. So thou shalt put the evil away from the what? Midst of thee. You got to put that evil away, brothers and sisters. Let me show another one. The reason I'm talking about dreams is because this is how Joseph started off when it came to the dreams, right? Let's go here to the book of Sirach real quick. Hey, Mayan, the Pasha, she said, just make sure you got your tithe and offering, though. You got to have that. Let me go here to the book of Sirach about them dreams real quick. Turn there with me to Sirach. Chapter 34 real quick. This is for those who know 1611 King James Bible, the book of Ecclesiastic us, or also known as the book of Sirach, right? Chapter 34. Now, I really just want to go to verse 6. But for those who may have never read it, I'm just going to start at verse 1 and go down to 6, because there may be some brothers out there who have never read it, right? Remember, what are we talking about? These dreams, because this is how it all started with Joseph. And a lot of people, when they have dreams, they get so focused on them, because it's so vivid. Sometimes it's, man, it feels so like so real or so real. You know, you like, man, it felt so real. Like I was there. I was touching it. I felt it. Like, goodness gracious. Everything was just so vivid. So verse 1, it says, the hopes of a man, void of understanding, are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools. Notice what it says. The hopes of a man, void of understanding, are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools. Like I said, you can go on social media right now, and you'll find 1,000 videos where people talking about they had dreams, either about the Most High, about His only begotten Son, about the devil, about heaven, about so many things, whatever topic. Verse 2, it said, whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catcheth at a shadow and follow after the wind. What is it telling you? Those people that regard it, those people that pay attention to those dreams, it's like someone trying to catch a shadow. Can you ever catch a shadow? No, because it's a shadow. Can you follow the wind? No. One, you can't see it. You can only feel it. In 1 minute it's blowing east. The next minute is blowing west. The next minute is blowing south. You can't follow after that. You don't even know where it's coming from or where it's going. It's the same thing as dreams, brothers and sisters. You can't put all your emphasis or worry about certain dreams that you have had. Why? Because it's vain. Verse 3. The vision of dreams is the resemblance of one thing to another, even as the likeness of a face to a face. Verse 4. Of an unclean thing, what can be cleansed? And from what thing which is false, what truth can come? These are questions. And you notice when you wake up from your dream, what do you always have? Questions. Especially if it was a way out one. You like, man, you sit there for a second like, man, that was way out. And then you start thinking and pondering and worrying, just depending on what kind it was. Verse 5, divinations and soothsayings and dreams are what? Vain, brothers and sisters. It's telling you. Dreams are in the same manner of the way of soothsaying and divinations. And it's telling you that they are what? All vain. They are all what? Worthless. And the heart fancieth as a woman's heart in travail. Had you all shook up. Have you all emotional, feeling a certain type of way? Sometimes you can wake up angry. Sometimes you can wake up mad. Sometimes you can wake up sad. It's just depending on what type of dream you had. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the kicker right here. Verse 6. If they be not sent from the Most High in thy visitation, set not thy heart upon them. Now, how do you know if you have a dream and it's from the Most High? How would a person know? If you had a dream, how do you know if it's from the Most High? Sleeping dreams. Sleeping dreams. I'm talking about sleeping dreams, not dreams that people want for themselves. But, you know, you could do that too. But I'm not even going to go on that note because I have broke that down, before. But right here, I'm talking about actual dreams like you sleep. knocked out drooling, right? And you dreaming. Now, how do you know if it's sent from the Most High in thy visitation? How do you know? And if it's not sent from the Most High, it's telling you, don't even think about it. Don't even worry about it. Don't even set thy heart upon them. Why? Because in verse 7 it says, for dreams have deceived many, and they have failed that put their trust in them, brothers and sisters. And I asked the question, how will you know if it's sent from the Most High? Well, you will get it interpreted. That's how. Even if you had a dream and you told somebody else, the Most High will send someone to interpret that dream. Either he would interpret it for you, or somebody would come along eventually and interpret it for you. The same thing is written in the book of Corinthians, where it says, don't speak in tongues unless there's what? An interpreter. Why would he have you had his dream and it's sent from the Most High, but you don't know what it means, and nobody never comes to interpret it? That makes no sense. That's like me speaking in tongues right now, and there's nobody to interpret it. Well, the Bible did say if nobody's there to interpret it, when it comes to the Psalms, that it was what? The Most High speaking to the Rakah inside of you, or the Rakah inside of you speaking to the Most High. And it's not for you to even know. That was them two having a conversation. Yes, because your spirit could just talk to the Most High without you even knowing in your own body, if you didn't know that. You don't even know what's going on in the human flesh. But the Rakah that's in you, that spirit that he has, is actually talking to him. And yet you don't know the language. You don't know what's being said. And then when it's all said and done, you sitting there like, what was that? You have no idea. And you'll never know because it wasn't an interpreter there to interpretate it. If that's ever happened to anyone. Verse 8, the law shall be found perfect without lies, and wisdom is perfection to a faithful mouth, brothers and sisters. So we spoke about Joseph a lot. Let's go into him now. Let's dive into him a little bit. Let's go to Genesis. Let's go to Genesis chapter 39. Let's go to our brother Joseph, right? Genesis chapter 39. Let's spend some time with him. And for those who don't know the story about Joseph, you know, like I say, he was sold into slavery. His brothers, basically, they was going to kill him first, but they didn't end up killing him. They ended up selling him to some people that was coming along the way. And within that, he ended up getting sold, and then he made his way down into what? Egypt. And now that's where we at basically now in Genesis 39. And it's telling you, even in his captivity, that he got sold off in his captivity in Egypt. It's telling you right here in verse 2 on down, and Yahweh was with Joseph. So the Most High is with you no matter where you are, either in the land or even in captivity. And he was a prosperous man. And he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Most High Yahweh was with him, and that Yahweh made all that he did to prosper in his hand. So somebody from another nation could tell that he had favor. And everything he did, everything he touched, everything he put his hand to, it prospered. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer. Remember, I told you earlier when we was reading Deuteronomy 13, Deuteronomy chapter 8, even though I didn't go to it and show you, but you could go to it if you want to, Deuteronomy 8, where it says that the Most High is going to prove you. So once Joseph gets down here, he's made overseer over his house. And all that he had, he put into his hands. Basically into his slave hands, right? He gave him full authority over his home. Verse 5. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that Yahweh blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake, not for the Egyptian, but for Joseph's sake. Now, every book that these kids are reading in school, in the library, even adults, they all talk about Egypt and how powerful it is and how a great place it was and how much gold they had and the pharaohs that they had. They make movies about it and all these different things. What about Joseph? Because Egypt would have never been where it was if it had not been for Joseph. Matter of fact, all those Egyptians that we know of today that people speak about, they would have all died of famine if it was not for Joseph. They would have all died. Does anybody give Joseph the credit for that? I've yet to hear anything about Joseph getting credit for saving Egypt. For saving Egypt. Because if it was not for him, we wouldn't even be talking about Egypt. Matter of fact, our brother, Hamashiach Yahushua, he wouldn't have had nowhere to go to. Matter of fact, Moses wouldn't have had nowhere to go to. Look at the symbolic. Moses was in Egypt. Our brother Hamashiach, the only begotten son, had to flee to Egypt. Joseph was in Egypt. Look at all of this. But if Joseph would have never did what he did back here in Genesis, so do you think it was just for that period of time, or was it for the coming future of our Messiah? Because the Messiah, when he was born from his mom, we'll get it a little later, he had to go where? To Egypt. Why? Because they were killing all of the children. Was that not the same thing that happened with Moses? They were killing all of the children. Time and time again, history has repeated itself. And for those who know the story, for those that have read it, who else did it happen to? It happened to Abraham too. Abraham was supposed to be killed. Abraham was supposed to be killed too, and he had to flee. Actually, his father hid him. Now, who was going to kill Abraham? It was Nimrod. So that's why the line is so important. Like I say, for those who have read that and those who know that, all the way from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all the way down to the Messiah that had to flee back where? To Egypt. So if Joseph would have not done what he had done, Egypt would have not been there for who? All of our people. Egypt has been a safe haven for us over the years. Don't get me wrong. I know eventually that Pharaoh rose up and he said, hey, these people are become mightier than us. These people we better do something for they overtake us. But the only reason he came to that conclusion was because of the Most High. The Most High put that in him for some reason. Of course, the reason I think is, and this is just my own opinion, I'm telling you is my opinion, is that our people were doing things and worshiping other deities that they ought not have been doing since they were in a strange land. And because of that, the Most High ended up putting them into captivity because they very well knew the Most High at this time. Because Jacob went down into the land and his brothers and sisters, all of his sons. So they knew the Most High. They knew what he demanded of them. They knew what they could not serve other deities. They couldn't worship other deities. And I'm pretty sure all of that stuff was passed down verbally because that's how they did it. And we know that it was done like that. And when you read Genesis chapter 50, when he was about to die or give up the ghost, he called all of his sons. This is something that was always done. So back to this, Genesis 39:5. So Joseph is in this Egyptian house. And the blessing of Yahweh was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand. That's how trustworthy he was. Because he knew that Joseph was walking with the Most High. He knew that. Shalom, Brother Timothy. Brother Timothy says, happy Shabbat. Shalom, our happy Sabbath family. We are driving home from the Shabbat Sabbath class. Khan. Then he says, listening while driving on 695. On the 695? Is that what you on? The 695. Baltimore, Maryland in the building. Shalom, Brother Timothy. The water for joining in. All praises be to the Most High that he woke us up this morning. So right here we see that Joseph was a righteous man. And he was with the Most High. The Most High was with him. And not only that, the Egyptian man whose house he was in, he seen this. And it goes on to say, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. How come we never read about this in any of the stories? How come we never see about this in any of these big motion pictures about this Hebrew that was given great favor, power in the land of his captivity? And it came to pass after these things that the master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph. And she said, lie with me. Now, who put that in her? Hashatan. Here come the temptation. He has went here. He's in his master's house. He's been given everything. He's basically master over the house, right up under the master, right? As we know it, you know, in them days, you call it what? A house. Living good. Now, here come the wife, and she says, lie down with me. Just lay with me. But let's see what Joseph did. See, nobody never talks about Joseph. They hide these things from us as a community, as a nation of people. These are things that need to be blown up. These are things that should be shown to the world. How righteous Joseph was. It says right here in 39:8, but he refused and said unto his wife's, Salakia, said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wanteth not what is with me in the house, and he have committed all that he have to my hand. There is none greater in the house than I. There's no one greater than me in the house except the master himself. In his captivity. The reason I kind of keep saying that is because we've been in captivity for, you know, people say 400 and some years, but well over that. I would say about 700. roughly 700 to 800. Going all the way back to the Portuguese and all of that stuff, even before that. You know, we're not going to get into that because we'll go down another hole. But anyway, it says, there is none greater in the house, in this house, than I. Neither have he kept back anything from me but thee. Meaning, only thing he hasn't given me is you as his wife. Because thou art his wife, so he was not going to give him his own wife. But everything else he had, he let him have of. And look what he says. Let me highlight this part right here. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against the Most High? He didn't say sin against his master. He did not say sin against his master. He said sin against who? The Most High. Because he knew it was the Most High that had put him in that position and it had exalted him. Wasn't the master, even though the master was the physical man that did it, but Joseph knew that it had came from who? The Most High. And he said, how can I do this great wickedness and sin against my father, the Most High Yahweh? Verse 10. And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day. So she didn't care about the Most High. She didn't care that he was a righteous man standing on that rock, standing up for righteousness. She wanted what she wanted. So she tried to lure him in, tempt him day by day, brothers and sisters, just like we are tempted day by day. That he hearkened not unto her. To what? Lie with her. Or to be with her. So she is trying to get our brother, Joseph, to sleep with her day by day, even though she's married. Mind you, he's a slave. And the Egyptian man is the one who has the power, but she wants who? The slave. Why? Because he's favored by the Most High. And Satan, Hasatan, he knows that that man is favored by the Most High. So he entered into that woman to what? Tempt him. To see if he was going to turn his back on the Most High and sleep with a married woman and commit what? Adultery. (11) And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the man of the house there within. So he goes into the house this one time, nobody's there but him, and of course the wife. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. She sees him. She pulls on his clothing. Just lay with me. Just please, come on. I want you. Joseph, he flees. He struggles out of there. But in the struggle and exiting out so fast, he leaves a piece of his garment. And of course, that's all Hasatan needed. Once he knew, or should I say, once she knew that he was not going to fall for that and he wasn't going to go down that road to be with her in a sexual way, he knew now that that wasn't going to work. He did everything that he could do in his power, everything she could do in her power. And it wasn't going to work. So now it says, and it came to pass when she saw that he left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the man of her house and spake unto them, saying, see, He had brought a who? Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came into me. Look how she finna lie. He came unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. Now, when you look at verse 14, brothers and sisters, what does this remind you of? All those motion pictures that we see on the screen, all those so-called Edomites that we see on the screen when they make these pictures and movies about the Egyptians and things of this nature. Just this very verse alone, when you read it, who do you think about? You brought a Hebrew into my house. What is that word that, of course, it's the Hebrew right there we see, but what word usually would fit right there in this nation that we live in? That they say you brought this such and such into my house and they tried to rape me. And the next thing we know, our brothers is out there what? Hung on a tree. They out there hung on a tree because some woman said you let him into our house and he tried to rape me. It's the same thing right here. Like the Bible says, nothing new under the sun. But right here, they just saying, instead of the N-word, they only saying, you let what? You brought a Hebrew into the house. And he tried to rape me. And when he did, I cried with a loud voice. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her until his master came home. Oh, she don't conjure up a good story. She don't conjure up a good story. And she got proof because she got his garment. She got proof because she got his garment. Now the master's home. Let's see what happened. Verse 17. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, this Hebrew, what? Slave. They're trying to be nice and say servant. No, it's a slave. Let's keep it 100. What it's really saying right here. I don't even want to use the word, but let's just keep it 100 what it's saying. That enslaved, which thou hast brought in unto us, came into me to mock me. That's what she's saying. The same thing that was happening back then, Genesis 39, is the same thing that was happening to our brothers and sisters for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. You done brought this Hebrew into us. Verse 18, and it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. 39, and it came to pass, when his master heard the words. First time the master hearing this now. The master don't came back to the plantation. And his wife is coming to him saying, that slave that you left here, yeah, he tried to come on to me. He tried to come into me. So when the master heard these words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, after this manner did thy slave to me, that his wrath was kindled. So now the master, he's upset. The master of the plantation, he's upset. But they're not going to break it down to you like this. That's why they hide this stuff. That's why they don't talk about this. Verse 20, and Joseph's masters took him. The master took Joseph and put him into what? Prison, a place where king's prisoners were bound. And he was there in that prison. Now, for some people, you may not know how long he was in prison. He was in prison. It wasn't for a couple days. It wasn't for a couple months. Joseph was in prison for years. Years. He just went from the top. He just went from he was right up under the master. And he dropped all the way down to the bottom and ended up in prison off of a woman lying on him. Wasn't nothing true. Only because he wouldn't what? Lay down with her. So she lied on him and brought him all the way from the top all the way down to the bottom. And now he's in prison. How many times have we seen this with our brothers out there in this world? Now, don't get me wrong. Some have done it. And some have what? Been lied on. This is why the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. Let's continue on. Verse 21. But look at this. But Yahweh was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. So no matter where he was in the house of that Egyptian, and he had favor. But when the wife lied on him, he got put in prison. But even in prison, he had favor. Why? Because he didn't fall into that temptation and give in to that wife, or Satan really, and sleep with her. So the Most High is still with him, even in this predicament that he has put him in, to prove him. Because that was a small exaltment that he was in his master's house. He was on the plantation, and the master gave him whatever he had, and he exalted him. But that was a very small. That was only in the perimeter of his master's property. And that's why I say plantation, because he belonged to somebody. He was sold to that person. They bought him, and he was his servant. So that was a small perimeter, but the Most High had a much greater plan for him. But if he would have fell into that temptation and slept with that man's wife, then he would not only got put into prison, he would have been what? Put to death. Imagine a master walking in and catching him and his wife one day. Would Joseph have been sent to prison? You have to ask yourself, would he have, if the master of the Egyptian master walked in and caught Joseph and his wife together, would he have put him in prison, or would he have killed him? He would have killed him.
And her too.
And her too, probably, like she said.
Ain't nothing for them to get another one.
So now that you know Joseph would have been murdered, the wife would have been murdered, he would have killed both of them. Now, how would the children of Israel been able to come down into Egypt when the famine hit? Everything is riding on Joseph. He doesn't know it yet. Jacob don't know it. His brothers don't know it. Nobody knows it yet, but everything is riding on Joseph right now to what? Be that righteous man. But that's why the Most High chose him to go down into Egypt. Why? Because Reuben probably would have failed. Why? Because Judah probably would have failed. All of the other brothers may have failed. The Most High chose who? Joseph. So now he's in prison. Let's keep going. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prisons. And whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. So basically, now Joseph ran the prison. So wherever Joseph go, he end up what? Running it. He was in his master house. The master gave everything to Joseph. He in prison. The prison give everything to Joseph. So wherever he goes, he end up becoming what? Ruler of it. Why? Because he is with the Most High, and the Most High is with him. But they don't go into details about this. They hide this stuff. Why? Because they don't want the Hebrew, the true Hebrew, the 12 tribes of Israel to, one, know who they are, two, know that you could possess this power in the land of your captivity as long as you follow the Most High in what? Righteousness. Man, it smells like it's going to rain out there.
It did say it was going to rain. I was going to say something.
All praises to the Most High that he bringing rain on this day. Get them people in the house so they can't shoot nothing. They can't celebrate nothing the way they want to. Verse 23. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because Yahweh was with him, and that which he did, Yahweh made what? Prosper. So these other men on the outside, they knew that the Most High was walking with him. They knew. Shabbat Shalom, Uziyat, the water for being here, the water for joining in. All praises be to the Most High. Yahweh is giving us another day. So the water for being here. Shabbat Shalom to you, So we have to focus in and look at this, because this is a great tool for us as a nation of Israel. All our brothers and sisters scattered to the four corners of the earth: Puerto Rico, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, the Netherlands, Australia, wherever you are, North America, South America, Colombia, Brazil, wherever you are. This is letting us know that even in the land of your captivity, as long as you are walking with the Most High, he will walk with you, and he will make your way prosperous, even to your very enemy, brothers and sisters. This is a great tool that you can show people and let it be known. Let's jump over to the very next chapter, chapter 40, Genesis 40. Now, if you never read the book of Genesis, you never read Joseph's story, I would encourage you to go back and read it, because I'm not going to read the whole thing, right? But we just going to touch on a few things right here. So we know now Joseph is in prison, right? We understand that. Uh-oh, they starting the fireworks.
There you go.
Now, I'm going to jump down in Genesis 40, but I just want to read verse 1 real quick. It says, and it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their master, the king of Egypt, right? So something happened. To make a long story short, to jump down where I'm going to jump down to, this butler and his baker, they got cast into prison, right? This is what happened. They end up getting cast into prison. So we're going to jump down a few verses, right? And to make a long story short, in verse 5, it talks about both of them had a dream. Each man had a dream in one night. Each man according to what? The interpretation of his dream. The butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound where? In prison. There it is in verse 5. So you know that those two individuals, those two men have been put in prison now. Now, who runs the prison? Joseph. But these two men had a dream, each one, right? It says in verse 6, and Joseph came in unto them in the morning and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his master's house, saying, wherefore look ye so sadly today? Right? The reason they look so sad is because they had these dreams. And verse 8 is going to tell you that. And they said unto him, we have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, do not interpretations belong to who? The Most High. This is why I say, if you have a dream and nobody comes, or the Most High doesn't give you an interpretation of what that dream is, and nobody comes to tell you about that dream that you had, then it wasn't sent from the Most High. And he said, count it as what? Vain, worthlessness. But since Joseph walks with the Most High, he knows that those things were sent from the Most High. He says, tell me them, I pray you. So in verse 9, 10, and 11, they start to go over what they were, right? What the dreams were. I'm going to just dump down to 12. They basically explain the two dreams that they have. You want to read it, you could go back and read it. But basically, even if you read it, you wouldn't understand it. It's just talking about veins and bundles and this and that, right? So in verse 12, it says, and Joseph said unto them, this is the interpretation of it. So Joseph is finna break it down. Why? Because he's walking with the Most High. Now, were these dreams really for those men? Or were they for Joseph? Sister Dorothy says, wow, they're starting early out west. I expect them to start after 9 when it's dark. No, not out here. Not out here. They don't wait till it's dark. You know, they already dark in the inside. They already dark. Yeah, they don't wait out here. You know, they don't wait. They just, man, all night long. Just keep going all day long. But verse 13. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head and restore thee unto thy place. So this is the interpretation of the dreams that they had. And thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner when thou was his butler. So this is the butler's interpretation, right? Verse 14. But think on me. Look at what Joseph says. When you get restored, butler, and I'm telling you this interpretation, he's telling the butler, think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto who? Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. He's telling this butler this as he's interpreting his what? Dream. He's giving the butler a message to give to who? Pharaoh. If Joseph have never got put into prison, how would he have gotten this message to who? Pharaoh. But Joseph was patient. He never turned from the Most High. He didn't get mad. He didn't get angry. He didn't curse the Most High and call him all kind of names and say, I'm turning my back on the Most High. Look what he has done to me. Look where he got me at. Look what he done to me. Remember, he don't been first he was gonna get murdered. He don't got sold. Then he was in somebody's house as a slave. Now he's in prison because this woman lied on him. So he's just telling this butler, hey, when you get back to the top up there with Pharaoh, remember me, brother. 15. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of who? The Hebrews. And here also have I done nothing that they should put me into this or into the what? Dungeon. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in a dream. I also was in my dream. And behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. So now, once he heard that, hey, this guy is going to be restored, he's going to be back where he was, he's going to be exalted, he like, ooh, I had a dream too, right? So now he's going to tell him about his dream. And then it says in verse 17, and in the uppermost basket, there was all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Okay. 19. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree. That's not what he wanted to hear. And the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. I know he didn't want that interpretation. So basically, he gonna be hung on a tree in 3 days, and the birds are gonna eat his flesh. That's not what he wanted to hear. I can guarantee you that. Verse 20. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday. Uh-oh. It was Pharaoh's birthday. So where do we get birthdays from? Right here. Who celebrated birthdays? The other nations. What did the Most High tell us in Leviticus 18? What did he tell us? That we should not take on the customs, or we shall not do the customs. Now that he has taken us up out of where? Egypt. So Pharaoh had a what? Birthday. that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup unto Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged who? That chief baker, as the dream said, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but he forgot. So the message that Joseph had told him, hey, when you get out there, when you get back up there to Pharaoh, man, remember me, brother. Let him know about me. I'm down here in the dungeon. But when the butler got where he was going to get, he forgot all about Joseph. He didn't remember about Joseph no more. He wasn't even thinking about Joseph. Let's jump to the next chapter, chapter 41. So since he forgot about Joseph, and he was never going to say nothing because he back where he was and he good. So he never going to say nothing about Joseph no more. Let me make it a little smaller. So once again, if you have not read this, I would encourage you to go back and read it. I'm not going to read the whole thing, okay? But Genesis 41 and 1, it says, and it came to pass at the end of what? 2 full years. So like I said, how long was Joseph in prison? This master that the wife lied on him got him put in prison. Then a period of time went by, right? Then these 2 men came into the prison because they did something to the Pharaoh. They was in prison for a period of time. They had a dream. Joseph interpreted that dream for them, and he told them, hey, once you get out and you get back up there, tell the Pharaoh about me, right? What we just read in 40 and 23, that the butler forgot about him. So 2 years go by. 2 whole years go by. Now what happened? Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by a river. So now who has a dream? Pharaoh. Why? Because the butler forgot about who? Joseph. And he didn't do what he was supposed to do. So now Pharaoh has a dream. Who sent him that dream? The Most High. In those 2 years, did Joseph get angry? Did Joseph get mad? Did Joseph go to the left, to the right? Did he curse the Most High? Did he blaspheme the Most High Yahweh? Did he start to worship Ra? Did he start to worship the Egyptian deity? Did he turn his back to the east and say, I ain't gonna face the east when I pray. I'm gonna face the south. Screw the Most High. He got me here in his prison. It's been 2 years. No, he didn't do none of that.
I'm gonna face the west.
That's what I'm gonna face the west. You know how people is.
I know.
Because they bitter and mad because the Most High got him in prison. Like I say, 2 full years went by. He had been in prison before the 2 years, so he had been in prison for a period of time. Long period of time. Stressed out. But here it is. Let's jump down a little bit. So we know that Pharaoh has a dream, right? So Pharaoh called his magicians and people. Nobody can tell Pharaoh about this dream. Right? Nobody could tell Pharaoh. So Genesis 41 and 8 is where I'm going to start it. And it came to pass in the morning that the Rakah was troubled. The spirit was troubled. And he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret it them unto the Pharaoh. Nobody could tell Pharaoh what the dream meant. all these magicians that he had, all these so-called wise men that he had, but nobody could tell him anything.
I got a question.
You have a question? Go ahead.
Do you think it was like he asked them and they said, "Oh, I don't know," or do you think there were probably some that tried and he was like, "No, I don't believe that"?
This is only my opinion. This is my opinion. I believe there were some that probably tried, but I believe there was a lot of them that didn't even try. Only because when it comes to Pharaoh, your life is in his hands, right? So you don't want to, that's not a place where you want to try to make up a story.
Well, I just wondered because you talking about for him to go to a Hebrew to ask about a dream, and I'm just trying to wonder, like, what made him believe that dream?
What made him believe what that the interpretation that he got back from Joseph?
Right.
Well, it's going to tell you right here as we go into it. It's going to tell you that exact thing, right? So after the wise men come, the magicians come, and it tells you right here in this last part. It says, "But what? But there was none that could interpret them unto the Pharaoh." Nobody had the answer. Verse 9. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Oh, now it comes to his mind. The chief butler right here, it comes to his mind all of a sudden now. He remembers. Something clicked. After 2 full years passed by, something clicked in his head and said, you know what? Wait a minute. He says, Pharaoh was wroth with his servants and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. Verse 11. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dream each man according to the interpretation of his dream. Verse 12. And there was one, Salakia, and there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew slave, a Hebrew servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream, he did interpret. And it came to pass as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me, he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. So you asked the question just a minute ago. You said, why did he really believe? Well, because first of all, this guy that's the butler that was in prison, he steps up and he's vouching. What is he doing? He's putting his life on the line right now. Because that's not his place. He's not a wise man. He's not a magician. So he's putting his life on the line because if it's a lie, he gonna get put to death.
Right. He just basically stating, I remember when I was in there, me and my baker, we had a dream.
Right.
And this man interpreted our dreams separately.
He said the other man was going to get hanged, right, and I was going to be restored. And that's exactly what happened. Right. So he's vouching for Joseph. 14. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he saved himself. And notice when it says himself is leaning a little bit. Right here, brothers and sisters, I believe that that's italic, right? For those who know what that means. Italicized, yeah.
He shaved, basically, that word was just inserted.
Correct. There it is.
They're just saying that he did it himself.
They inserted that. That's what that italic means. And changed his clothing, right? Changed his remnant and came unto the Pharaoh, right? He had to clean himself up because he was in a dungeon. He was in prison. So now he's basically about to go in front of the king, the ruler of all of Egypt. So they're not going to just throw him down in front. You know, they want to clean him up first. Verse 15. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have had a dream. And a dream, and there is none that can what? Interpret it. And I've heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not me. Huh? It is not in me. The Most High Yahweh shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. So we know right here that Joseph was still walking with who? The Most High. He still had faith. He still believed. He didn't give up because the butler that got restored 2 years ago, he didn't give up and kick the bucket, say screw the Most High, none of that stuff. He's saying right here, it is not what? In me. But the Most High Yahweh shall give Pharaoh an answer of what? Peace. Then he goes on to tell him about the dream that he had, right? I'm not going to read all of that. You want to read it? You can read it if you want to read it.
Yeah, I like.
Go ahead. She want to read it. We'll let her read it. Start at 17 then, and we'll work our way down.
And Pharaoh said unto Joseph in my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river.
Uh-huh.
And behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat-fleshed and well-favored, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored, and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kind did eat up the first 7 fat kine. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored, as at the beginning. So I awoke. And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 ears withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. Allahayam has showed Pharaoh what he is about to do.
Now remember a few verses ago what she just read is the first dream. He said he woke up. Then he started off in another one, right? So he thinking he had 2 dreams. This is why he's telling him that no, it's just one. So he would have never got the right interpretation because he was splitting them. But they were all one. And he's going to break it down to him now. Verse 26, go ahead.
The 7 good kine are 7 years.
And
the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What Allahayam is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land.
Now that famine right here in verse 30, it says it shall consume the land. If goodness gracious, if they had never If Joseph was never there to interpret it, this dream, all the people in Egypt would have been consumed by this famine. And not only them, the children of Israel too. Everybody around in that area. They would have died of starvation. 7 years. Nothing is growing. The cows can't eat. Nothing can eat anything because there's nothing growing. So the animals going to start dying. People going to start dying. And you're going to starve of starvation. And we know this because this is how our ancestors went down in Egypt, because Jacob sent his sons, because what? There was no grain. And they were starving. Go ahead, verse 31.
And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by Elohim, and Elohim will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine.
So the land, what? Perish not. Because that famine that was coming could have made the whole mass, the whole land of Egypt, like I say, all the regions around, everybody that was, they were going to die. They were going to die. But this is something that the Most High is bringing to do what? Exalt his people. 37.
And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants.
So once he heard that, to answer your question, in his spirit, in his rakah, his feeling inside himself, when he heard that interpretation, he was like, you know what? That sounds right. He felt good with that.
Well, yeah, because it told him one thing, and it told him
how to prepare for it and be able to live through it. Right? And then he didn't even try to give honor to himself. He says, hey, you need to find who? A man that's wise and this and that, and then you need to set up people. So he's telling them what you need to do to what? Place everything in order to make it through this famine.
Right.
So yeah, it seemed good to the Pharaoh, especially in his eyes, right? Especially in his eyes. Sister Dorothy says, our forefathers have been through a lot. Psalms 33 and 12. Let's get that for her. We'll come right back here real quick. Psalms 33 and 12. And then we'll come right back to Genesis. This is for the Sister Dorothy. Psalms 33 and 12. It says, blessed is the nation whose the Most High is Yahweh, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance, brothers and sisters. All praises be to the Most High. You know, if it wasn't for him, I just don't know. Like it says right here, all of Egypt, all of those people, even our ancestors, Jacob and all of the 12 sons, they would have died. In 38, it says, and Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this is, a man whom the rakah of the Most High is? So even though Joseph told them to find a man, find people, they asked within themselves, wait a minute, can we find somebody amongst us that whom what? The spirit of the Most High is in? Can we find that amongst us? Yeah, we got magicians, we got wise men, we got soothsayers, we got all this stuff. But what we don't have is a man around us that the Most High is with. Basically a Hebrew. You're right. You're 100% right. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as the Most High have showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Exalted him right then and there, on the spot. There is none like you, Joseph. There's none like you. Thou shalt be over my house. Now, once again, like I said earlier, at first he was just ruler. He was just overseer over who? That small plantation home that he was in, where the woman lied on him. And if he was comfortable with that, he would have never moved no further. He probably would have failed. Like I say, maybe they walked in, eventually caught him and the wife. He would have been put to death. Or just say it went on and he never found out. He would have just stayed in the master's house right there and never moved forward. Why? Because he was comfortable where he was at. And then on top of that, he's sleeping with the man's wife. And now she got something to hang over his head anytime he wanted to do what? Leave. I tell my husband, and he gonna put you to death. So he would have always remained where? Under Satan's control, under that one plantation. Why? Because he had fell into the temptation with the wife. But since he had a bigger picture and he knew that he served the Most High and he wasn't going to go down that road, the Most High had other plans for him to rule over not just that little plantation, but all of Egypt. All of Egypt. Because that could be the only way that he was able to bring his children down into what? Mizraim, Egypt, to live, to be able to live through what? This famine. Now, this was the start of the children of Israel going down into Egypt and then remaining there and going into what? Captivity and slavery. But let's continue on. 41. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand.
Didn't finish 40.
I didn't finish 40?
No, you just stopped that over my house.
Oh, Salakia, let me go back. I didn't finish 40. Thou shalt be over my house, and according to all thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne, Salakia, only in the throne will I be greater than thou. So nobody was higher in rulership than Joseph, but the actual Pharaoh. So it's kind of like this. You got a CEO and then you got a CCO. Joseph was the CCO. He was right up under the CEO. He was right up under, and you could say vice president. You got a president, you got vice president. Now, mind you, he's not an Egyptian. He's a Hebrew. Who does this remind you of when you think about it? Who was right up under there, almost ready to be what? Pharaoh. Who else? Moses. So the Hebrews have had great rulership, great authority, great power in where? Egypt. Like I said earlier, Moses was in Egypt and he rose to the top. But why? Because they were killing what? The Hebrew children, the boys. Our Messiah, our brother, our friend, Hamashiach Yahushai, he was in Egypt and had to stay there. Why? Because they were killing all of what? The Hebrew children, the boys. And like I say, for those who have read the story and know the story that I'm talking about, for those who have ears to hear, who went through the same thing? Abraham. Abraham went through the same exact thing. And who was trying to kill him? Nimrod. So this is an ongoing thing that Satan, Hasatan, has been trying to destroy these line of people from generation to generation to generation to generation. He's been trying to destroy the seed, but never what? Succeeding. And almost all of them took refuge where? In Egypt. So there's only one is greater, and that's the Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. 42. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it upon Joseph's hand and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen and put a gold chain about his neck. And today, brothers and sisters is walking around with gold chains on their neck, this, that, and the third. You know, some people say that that's a custom from who? The Egyptians. So should we do that? You know, like I say, that's a whole nother story, but we know our people love to put chains around their neck. And as you can see, Pharaoh took his chain and put a chain around who? His neck. Did we do that as Hebrews? Did we put chains around our neck? Or do we need to? But anyway, like I said, that's a whole nother story. 43. And he made him to ride in the second chariot, which he had, and they carried before him. Salakia. Cried before him. Salakia. Cried before him. Bow the knee. And he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. Nobody could do nothing unless Joseph gave the okay. That's how powerful the Most High is. Mind you, this is in the land of his what? Captivity. No matter where he was at, he always rose to where? The top.
Oh, I have a comment.
You got a comment? Go ahead.
Popped in my head.
Go ahead.
So it just goes to show that even in your land of captivity, which we are in now, the new Egypt, it doesn't matter who rises up as far as being an Israelite, because we've seen people like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, you know, even Black Panthers, and you know what they represent is somewhat similar to what, you know, the scriptures would want us to be like.
Right.
But it doesn't matter if you're exalted up, because in an instant you can't forget that you're in the land of captivity.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter how much you think that you're above someone else, you can still be snuffed out.
Right. Right.
And not only that, people are made to be put in a higher statute just so that you can see that, yes, it can be possible. But them people aren't going to be the ones that save us, because it's Yahweh Shai is supposed to come back and do that.
But what's the whole, with that, what you just said, and everything that we read and everything that we went through, what did Joseph remain the whole time?
Humble.
Humble.
Remain humble.
That's the whole moral of the story, brothers and sisters. When you go into the New Testament, Paul speaking about what? Humble. Peter speaking about what? Humble yourself. Humility. James is talking about what? Humble yourself. Everybody that we read about all throughout the Bible is talking about what? Humbling ourselves. Not thinking of ourselves more than what we really are, I should say. And this is why it says in the book of Sirach, chapter 10:9, why is earth and ashes so proud? Why are we so proud? It's the Most High that exalts you. It's the Most High that brings you down. It's the Most High that gives you anything. Whatever you have, even this very day right now, brothers and sisters here, everybody that's here, we're only here because the Most High has given us this day. Let me show you that real quick, and we'll come right back to Genesis. This is one of the classics that I always go to. Lamentations chapter 3, real quick, and then we'll go back to Genesis. And
Lamentations 3.
Lamentations 3:22. I'll start at 21, right? Lamentations chapter 3, verse 21. And the reason I love going here is because it tells us, brothers and sisters, like we have to understand. Lamentations 3:21, it says, this I recall to my mind, therefore, and have I hope. It is of Yahweh's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassion faileth not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness, brothers and sisters. So his mercy and his compassion, it fails not. And that is extended to us when? Every morning. Every day that you wake up, that mercy and compassion has been extended to you again, because he is the giver of life and the taker of life. So as we have life right now, I'm speaking right now, breath is coming out of my body, speech is coming out. It's only because of his mercy and his compassion towards us as a people. That's it. And they are new every morning. That's why I tell brothers and sisters, I don't care what you did yesterday, last week, a month ago, 2 months ago, 2 years ago. You can start new every single day. When he woke you up that morning, you can start new that day. Why? Because it's new mercy and compassion that has been extended to you that day. Verse 24 says, Yahweh is my portion. Let me put it up some. Yahweh is my portion, saith my soul. Therefore I hope in him. You got to put all your trust in him. This is what it's saying right here. Verse 25, Yahweh is good unto them that wait for him. Did Joseph wait for him? What you say? You say yes? Yeah. Joseph waited. He was humble. He was patient. Like I say, 2 years went by before that butler said anything. 2 years. But even here, Jeremiah is letting us know Yahweh is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that what? Seeketh him. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of Yahweh. He wasn't causing a ruckus in that prison. He wasn't walking around with his middle finger up. He wasn't cursing at the guards. He wasn't blaming anybody. No, he was humble. And he quietly what? Waited for salvation to be what? Free. What is salvation? Being free from what? Your enemies. Joseph was in the land of his enemies, captivity. They had him in prison, and he was waiting on what? The Most High to what? Free him, to bring him what? Salvation. And since he waited patiently, humbly, and quiet, the Most High did what? When he finally brought him salvation, he exalted him on high to where he had as much power as who? Pharaoh did. The same one who ruled everything. He had as much power as he did, brothers and sisters. You have to think about that. Now let's go back real quick. Genesis 40. Where did we leave off at? 44. I think that's all I wanted right there. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted in here. So this right here is just talking about how they gathered the food, and then Pharaoh gave him a wife, and then he had 2 sons with the wife that Pharaoh gave, and this is where you get the sons of Manasseh and Ephraim from, right? That Joseph had in the land of Egypt, right? But we know after all of this time, when the famine hits, what happened? That the children of Israel had to come down into what? Egypt. But how come, my question is, how come they don't break all this story down, so much that Joseph did, how great it was? Let's get this in the New Testament real quick. Because even our brother, Matthew chapter 2 is what I'm going to go to. Let me read this real quick. Sister Dorothy says, it says, Khan, his brethren would have died from famine had he sinned with the wife. Yeah, his daddy would have died, all his brethren, all their wives, all their children. We wouldn't be here. There would not be a Israelite. There would not be a land. There would not be a people. There would not be Moses. There would not be nothing. Everything would have collapsed if he had fell into sin, like the Sister Dorothy is saying. That's what I said. Everything was riding on who? Joseph. But the Most High knew that he would be able to handle it. Right? I mean, he knew this is what, before we go to Matthew, let's get 1 Corinthians real quick. 10, one of the classics, 1 Corinthians 10, right? And Paul lets us know this. 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, right? As we read, it says, there have no temptation taken you, but such as common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able. So the Most High already knew when he put Joseph in that predicament to prove him that he wasn't going to fall, because he was going to lean back on who? The Most High. But will with what? The temptation of that woman in Egypt, his master's wife, also make a way to escape. And he did escape. He ran out of there, even though he left his shirt. But he escaped. The Most High made a way for him to what? Escape. It's no telling how hard that woman was holding on to him. It was hard enough to wear the shirt rip off his body. So she had a good hold of him. For you to take off and run and for you to come out your clothing, somebody had to be holding on to you pretty tight. But he knew in his mind, Joseph, he said, this is the split moment. I have to escape right now. If I don't do it right now, she may get me. And he used that little window that the Most High gave him to do what? Escape, as it says right here. And that's what he did. That you may be able to what? Bear it. And that's exactly what he did. He escaped. Paul goes on to tell the brothers right here in 14, wherefore, my dear beloved, flee what? Idolatry. Flee it. So yes, brothers and sisters, that's powerful, like the Sister Dorothy put in there. And then she also said Moses, And we know that Moses was going to be killed. That's why they put him in the basket, sent him up. Pharaoh's daughter came down, found him, raised her as one of her own sons, and then he rose up to be. And even in that, when we go to the book of Hebrews, he had to do what? He had to make a decision. Even Moses had to make a decision. Let's show that real quick before we go there. Moses had to make that decision too. He always puts you in a predicament to where you have to make the decision. But it wasn't a problem for Moses. Let's get it right here. This is speaking about all of the faith, right? Here it is. Hebrews 11 and 23. Let me make it as big as I can.
11 and what?
23. The book of Hebrews in the New Testament, chapter 11, verse 23. It says, by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents. So they had to hide their child 3 months because they saw he was what? A proper child. And they were not afraid of the king's commandment. What was the commandment? To kill those children. By faith, when he was come to years, when he got older, refused to be called what? The son of Pharaoh's daughter. He refused that. They didn't stop calling him that. He refused it. He rejected it. Most men today would have just stayed what they was. You know, oh, I'm about to become Pharaoh. I'm Pharaoh's daughter. I'm going to just stay with that. I'm going to just reign. Even though they knew they was Hebrew, I'm going to just act like I'm Egyptian. I'm in power. I'm right up under Pharaoh. I'm good, you know. And then it goes on to say in verse 25, letting you know there was a choice, brothers and sisters. Just like Joseph, he had a choice. He could have laid with that woman. It was nobody in the house but him and that woman, his wife. But he knew, as he said, am I going to sin against who? The Most High. He wasn't even worried about the man. He said, am I going to sin against who? The Most High. Verse 25, choosing rather to suffer affliction. It was a choice that Moses made when he became of age. And it's the same decision that we have to make as believers of the only begotten Son and the Father. Are you going to choose rather to suffer what? Affliction? Are you going to choose rather to just be with the world and go along with how the world is in society? Or are you going to stand set apart? Are you going to tell somebody that you know you come outside and your neighbors say, hey, happy 4th of July? Are you just going to not say anything? Or are you going to let them know I don't celebrate the 4th of July? And if they ask you why, you let them know. This is why I don't celebrate the 4th of July. I don't celebrate it. And this is the particular reason why I do not celebrate the 1776 when this country was given what? Its independence. In 1776, this country was given its independence. They did not write the proclamation until what? 1865. 1865. But this country was given its independence, freedom from who? Britain and all them in 1776. So if the country was given their freedom in 1776, but the paperwork wasn't drawn up for our people, our ancestors, until 1865. Where were our people at in 1776? What were they doing? Did they have a celebration at that day? Did they say, wow, our country has gained independence? Hooray, hooray, hooray. Or were they in captivity? Or were they in slavery? Or were they told that day, I'm not talking to you, nigga. It's not your Independence Day, nigga. Get out there and pick that cotton, nigga. What were they told that day? Or did they go and gather fireworks? Did they put some hot links on the grill and some hog mog and snog? Did they do that? Or did they pick cotton all day and pick tobacco all day and cut sugar cane all day? What were they doing on that day? in 1776? It's just a question, brothers and sisters. How did our people feel? Imagine you going back to your ancestor and asking your ancestor in your family, in your heritage, how did they feel on that day? Because if somebody in your bloodline that was here in that year on that day, and ask them, your family member, if you can go back in time and ask your ancestor, how do you feel on this day? Do you feel like that you're free? Do you feel like that you have been given independence? And see what they would say to you today here in 2026 as they see most of the people out celebrating. How you think that they would feel? How do you think they would feel? Would they tell you, it's okay, go ahead and celebrate it? Or would they tell you, great granddaughter or great grandson, I wish that you would choose rather to suffer in the affliction with who? The people of the Most High, like we did. Like we did back there in 1775, back there in 1776. Or would they tell you, just go ahead and celebrate it now? Go ahead and be a part of it. Well, I know my ancestors, and I know they would say, we would rather that you choose to what? Suffer in the affliction of the people of the Most High than enjoy the pleasures of the 4th of July for a season, for a day, which are red, white, and blue.
So it say that the so-called black people, back in 1776.
1776. Oh, you got something on the screen?
Well, yeah, it just says.
Go ahead, read it. Back, she's pulled something up for us. In 1776, it says what?
It says by the time the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776,
Black
Americans, both free and enslaved, were already fighting, spying, building, and dying for a freedom that wasn't guaranteed to them.
Wasn't guaranteed.
Over 5,000 black men fought for the American side.
Woo.
Tens of thousands fought for the British, who promised freedom in return for loyalty.
They promised freedom in return for what? Loyalty.
Black labor, bravery, and sacrifice were critical to the revolution's success, but too often left out of the story. So basically, the same thing that we.
Same thing from, hey, nothing new under the sun. Same thing now. They promising you what? Freedom.
They said they used black people
to
fight when the masters who were white didn't want to go fight.
Right.
So they replaced them
with black people. Right. Right.
You know, telling them, you be free and this, that, and the third. But
and this is all our brother. This is what I mean by. They always say this term. If you want to hide something, hide it in the book. You know what I'm talking about. But this is the thing, brothers and sisters. We have to educate ourselves. And if a brother or sister don't know, we don't look down on them. We just educate them, and then let them make that decision if they choose to participate or not. You get what I mean? For when you don't know, that's something different. But when you know the history of it in 1775 and 1776, and then your people that were brought here on ships, and those that were here already are Indian brothers and sisters, the Native Americans that were here already, and slaughtered and murdered. When you know the history of everything, and then you want to tell me to celebrate independence? What independence? It wasn't our independence, even though certain of our people fought, but they were fighting in the hopes that they were what? Be freed. And then we know that they wasn't. We know that they wasn't. And people today here in 2026, they say, I'm free. Are you? Are you really? You free? You have a social security number? You have an ID? There's nothing that you could just do. You can't walk out your house and be free. You're being video recorded. Everything, every movement that you do in your life is accounted for. There's not anything that's not accounted for. Nothing. They know everything you say. They know everything you do, and now they know everything you think. This is why sometimes you may think of something, and before you even go to type it in your phone, it pops up. You say, wow, dang, how did they know? And then you click on it. Because they know what you're thinking. What do you think when they talk about the algorithm? They know what you look at. They know what makes you laugh. They know what kind of music you like. They're studying you. They're studying you. It's all a big study to find out what people like, what they dislike, and not only that, to what? Put inside of you what they want you to like. It's just I'm not even going to go into all of that. It's a lot, brothers and sisters. It's a lot. Sister Dorothy says, Khan. She also says right here, we were not even considered to be human beings. Khan. This is what I'm saying. In the Constitution of the very place that we say that we live, we were not, as she just stated, we're not considered human beings. You were what, 3/4 or 3/5 of a human being when they wrote the Constitution. This is how they put you in the paperwork. They put you in the paperwork that you're not a full human being. You're 3/4 of a human being.
I thought it was 2/3. My bad.
You said 2/5?
No. I said I thought it was 2/3.
Yeah. You're not even a full. That's written in the Constitution. But then you're going to tell me we got our independence in 1776? Not us. Not we. Maybe you did, but not us. So when we read these type of things, Moses understood these things. And this is why I hear that you see it in Hebrews 11:25. He says, choosing rather to suffer the affliction of who? The people of the Most High, than to enjoy the pleasures of the 4th of July. And I'm putting that in there, of sin for a season. 26, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures of Egypt. And the reason I say that, brothers and sisters, because those that believe in the Bible, those that believe in the prophecy of Deuteronomy 28:68, when it says that you shall go back into what? Egypt on ships. And we believe that this is Egypt that we're in, right? Why would you be partaking in things that it says don't partake in? Let me get that real quick, and then we'll come back to Hebrews. Leviticus chapter 18, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Here it is. Leviticus 18, I'll start at verse 1, right? Now, this is what he says, brothers and sisters. So if you believe in the prophecy of Deuteronomy 28:68, and you say you do, then you cannot partake in this day of 1776 and call it Independence Day. I don't care if they offer you a hot dog. No.
It's probably pork anyway.
It's probably pork anyway. More than likely it is. You don't partake in that. Leviticus 18:1, it says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Most High Yahweh, your power. And then it says in verse 3, after the doings of the land of Egypt, which you say that we are in, because you believe in the prophecy of Deuteronomy 28:68, it says, wherein ye dwelt, ye shall what? Not do, brothers and sisters. So no, you cannot partake in Independence Day. It says, and listen right here, and after the doings of the land of Canaan, whether I bring you, so even where you going, you shall not do, neither shall you walk in the ordinances. You shall do my judgments and keep my ordinances to walk therein. I am Yahweh, your power. So no, brothers, you can't do it. But if you want to, I mean, I can't stop you. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what it says right here. And Moses esteemed it what? Greater riches. To what? Serve the Most High. Joseph esteemed it what? Greater riches. To do what? Serve the Most High. Look at what Satan was offering Joseph. He was already a ruler under his master. He already was a ruler in his master's home on that plantation. And then not only that, if he was prideful and puffed up, look how he would have been. Man, I'm sleeping with the master's wife. Man, she want me. I'm sleeping with the master's wife. So I got as much rulership as the master, and I'm sleeping with his wife. He could have been walking around prideful. Like, yeah, it's all about me. Which most of us do. But he was humble. He was meek. He loved the Most High. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. And it cost him what? Going to prison. Just like it cost Moses what? Getting cast out of what? Egypt. Verse 27, it says, by faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of who? The king. See? He knew that they was going to come after him. He knew Pharaoh was going to have a problem with this. Just like your people going to have a problem if you stand down and don't celebrate the 4th of July. If you speak on that and tell them why, they're going to have a problem with it. For he endured as seeing him who is what? Invisible. Through faith, he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of the blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. I mean, this is just powerful. You know, when you go through it, it's just powerful all the way through how Moses forsook Egypt. And at that time, the Israelites didn't have nothing. They were slaves. So he went from CEO, he went from the top up there with Pharaoh all the way down to being a slave out there making what? Bricks. All the way down. But it didn't stop him. Uzziah says, and now our people out here wearing clothing with the American flag, goodness gracious, print while grilling on this day. Shake my head. Yep. And they're proud of it. They got the little flag on their shirt. Like Uzziah said, they got the little flag in front of their house. And they're like, woo, Independence Day, woo.
It's sad because it's like independent from what? Regardless if you think as a person, you could be the richest person, you're still enslaved.
They don't know that though.
No,
the trick of being enslaved is what? Not for a person to believe or feel that they are enslaved. That's the trick. That's the whole thing right there. If you can make a person feel that they're not enslaved and they're not a servant while really being enslaved and a servant, then you have did the ultimate accomplishment.
The greatest enslavement.
The greatest enslavement is where?
In the mind.
In the mind, brothers and sisters. There it is. And before it was a physical enslavement. It was physical. But just like any enemy, they have learned that the greatest enslavement, it starts where? In the mind, brothers and sisters. And if you don't know the history that's documented and you don't do your studies to know the history, then you will become a part of anything. And all I'm saying is, hey, look at the documentation. In 1776, when they departed ways and they were given their independence from these other nations or these other countries, because this was considered what? A new world. They said, finally, we gained our independence. But like I said, was that independence for us? Because I can guarantee you they said, this independence ain't for you, nigga. You better get back out there and pick my cotton. You better get back out there or you will get lynched. And even in 1865, when they wrote that, and they so-called freed all of the people, where did they go? They end up right back at the plantation because they were in a place where they didn't know where to go to. They didn't know how to read. They didn't know how to do anything. They didn't know which way was north, south, east, west, nothing. So, you know, the water for that, Uzziah. Sister Dorothy says, covenant truth breakers. Con. She also says, I'm so glad he was a decent man. We need more men like Joseph in this world. Con. I 100% agree with you. But this is why I wanted to do this, because he does not get the credit. How many people talk about Joseph? And all that he did, the whole nation of Israel was riding on his shoulders. Not only Israel, but Egypt and everybody else too, but the whole thing was riding on him. He could have went left anytime. Anytime he could have been like, man, I'm done with the Most High. Screw this. I can't take this pressure. But he didn't. He didn't buckle. He didn't waver. He stood tall. He stayed humble. And any opportunity, he let it be known, hey, if you get up there, can you please just let them know I'm down here? Hey, can you do this? Hey. And if it be the Most High will, it'll happen. And it happened. And here we are here thousands of years later speaking about who? Joseph. And like the sister Dorothy just said, we need more men like him today. Just humble, brothers. Just humble. That's what we got to do. Humble ourselves to stop thinking that we are more than what we really are. And in that, if you humble yourself and have humility, you will get, I've learned for myself, you will get further in life. And you will see more things clearly because you're, you know, as they say in the world, your stuff stink too. Your stuff does stink. You may not think it stink because it's yours, but it does. But if you humble yourself and know that your stuff stink just like everybody else stuff stink, you're not greater than anybody else. Don't exalt yourself and think that you're better than anyone. And you just on a, you know, humble humility, meekness. See how far that gets you, especially with the Most High. Sister Dorothy says, Khan, outside grilling pork, and spare ribs. You better read Leviticus chapter 11, brothers and sisters, messing with that swine. Well, let's get this. I'm not going to hold you too long today. Let's get this so we can wrap it on up. Matthew, where I was going earlier, Matthew 2, verse 10. And I just want to show something real quick, once again, about our Messiah, our brother, our friend, Hamashiach Yahushua, that even as Moses, even as Joseph, Moses, and even the Messiah went down where? Into Egypt. So my question is, before we close out, if Joseph had not done what he did, where would the Messiah have taken refuge? Because he went to Egypt. But if Joseph had not did what he did, would we have been able to go to Egypt? Because like the sister Dorothy said, Egypt may have not even been there because of the famine. So where would the Messiah have gone? Here it is right here. Matthew 10 and Matthew 2 and 10. It says, when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were coming to the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshiped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And this is only for those who have ears to hear, right? This is for those that have ears to hear, that have studied and have known and have read. Why did they offer him gold, frankincense, and myrrh? The reason why, I'll drop the jewel, the reason why they offered him these three things is because those are the three things that were allowed out of the garden. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. For those who know. And if you don't know, I encourage you to do research on it. Verse 12. And being warned of the Most High in a dream, once again, here it is talking about those dreams. That's why I started off the foundation of this lesson in what? Dreams. Deuteronomy 13, right? Then we went to the book of Sirach, or better known as the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 34. You can start at verse 1 and work your way down. But before I went into things about the dream, I built the foundation to establish about dreams. And being warned of the Most High in a dream that they should not return to Herod. They departed into their own country another way. Verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the Malach of the Most High Yahweh appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into where? Egypt. And be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. Verse 14. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into where? Egypt, brothers and sisters. Who are they talking about? Who is this young child? The Messiah, the only begotten son, Hamashiach Yahushua himself. So if Joseph, listen, all the way back in Genesis 39, even earlier than that in Genesis, but if Joseph had not done what he was supposed to do, as the sister Dorothy said, we need more men like that. And it was all on his shoulders. If he had not done what he was supposed to do, like all of the rest of the men, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and so forth, where would the Messiah and his father and his mother went and took refuge? Where? Because it was prophesied already. Remember, everything has already been written and what? Predestined before the foundation of the world. So if that is the case, like the Bible says in the book of Ephesians, and this is hypothetical, what if Joseph didn't? But all praises be to the Most High that Joseph did. And it led to what? The only begotten son being able to go and take refuge where? In Egypt. Until what? Herod died. Verse 15. And was there until the death of Herod. So the Messiah, the only begotten son, he was in Egypt, hanging out. The whole time. While Herod was trying to kill all of the Hebrew children from 2 years down, the Messiah that he was looking for to try to kill and slaughter was in Egypt, hanging out, doing all kind of things. We don't have stories that account what he was doing, but hey, I'd imagine he was a little kid. You know what little kids do. They run around. They have fun. They laugh. They giggle. Those are like the best years of your life. Newborn to about what? I would say maybe 6, 7. After that, kids, they start to change because now they become part of the world. You know, if you see a child then from like 7 to like 10, 11, oh man, it's totally different. But he was there in Egypt until Herod died. And then it says right here that what? It might be fulfilled, which was spoken of Yahweh by the prophet, saying, out of Egypt have I called my son. So it was prophesied. So Joseph had to do what he had to do. Moses had to do what he had to do because this was prophecy that when the Messiah come, he was going to be able to take refuge where? In Egypt. All this is prophetic. And yes, Herod was slaughtering the babies. He was killing them. It tells you right here in verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceedingly what? He was mad. He was wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coast thereof from 2 years. And they want to say we are bad people. King Herod was an Edomite, and he was killing babies from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise man. You know, so I just wanted it to be known about our brother Joseph. I feel like, you know, his story is hid. His story is not brought forth in the manner of way that it should be brought forth for those to know and enlighten, you know. Let me see real quick. Genesis 50. Like I say, about being humble, right? Even after all that happened to Joseph, dungeon, jail, this, that, this is him after all of that, right? And this is his brothers. Genesis 50 and 17, and then we'll close out. So shall you say unto Joseph, forgive, I pray thee now, the trespasses of thy brethren and their sin, for they did unto thee evil. And now we pray thee, forgive the trespasses of thy servants of the Most High of thy father. And Joseph cried when they spake unto him. And his brother also went and fell down before his face. And they said, behold, we be thy servants. That's the dream that he had initially before any of that stuff happened, that they got upset for him when he first had the dream and came and told them. And Joseph said unto them, fear not, for am I in the place of the Most High? But as for you, you thought evil against me, but the Most High meant it unto good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people what? Alive. Even all the way to the Messiah. They thought they was doing something evil, Joseph said, but hey, man, you didn't know that this was all planned by the Most High Yahweh to save many people, all the way down to our Messiah, to the only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. That's how deep it goes. And he stayed humble all the way to his death. He stayed humble. It says in 21, now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spake kindly unto them after they sold him, after he was in prison, after he was lied on, after all of the things that he went through, he still was humble to the same ones that did him wrong, brothers and sisters. And I believe that's why his story is hid. That's why they don't push it to the forefront. They talk about the pharaohs all the time, but what about Joseph? There wouldn't be any more pharaohs if it wasn't for Joseph. They would all been dead because of the famine. Huh?
There's comments in the chat.
Oh, okay. She said there's comments in the chat. Let me just go to it, brothers and sisters. Let me get it real quick. Uzi Yah says, true, Joseph also could have done evil for evil when he met his brothers after they sold him, but he chose not to. Genesis 50 and 20. He was a great man. All praises to the Most High. The water. I didn't even see that comment, but we went there. All praises be to the Most High. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what the spirit. That's the Rakah. I didn't even see it, but you had already put it in there. The water. You know, Khan. Sister Dorothy says, Khan. She also says, I also admire Nehemiah, Khan. We need more men like him also, Khan. Ezra, Nehemiah, Joseph, Moses, all of them. All of them. And in certain books, like you said, like Nehemiah, Zephaniah, Zechariah, like those men don't get credit. They only even want to talk about Paul. You know, it's certain people that get credit and it's certain people that don't get credit. But I believe all of them should get credit, because all of them did great things. And those are the men, just like our brother, the Messiah, who we should be striving after. We're not perfect, but like Paul said, we're doing what? We're chasing after perfection. We know what it is to be all messed up, but we just try to better ourselves day by day. She also says, Sister Dorothy, Aqua Dorothy, he lived fruitful like one.
He lived a fruitful life, one of purpose, honorable.
Oh, okay, Salakia. Thank you, Tawada. Honorable, Khan. very honorable life, you know. But people get mad when they hear the Bible. I'm going to play a few more seconds of this video and then we're going to close out. I just want to show this last little part real quick. Because people say that we preach hate, right? They say, well, you guys are preaching hate, you know, about the Bible. And then no. Once again, I just want to show a little bit more of this man telling you things of the Bible. And then we'll get ready to close out. Here we go.
Says God. And turn to the right. We're going to go through Kings and Chronicles. And right after the Chronicles, you get to Ezra and then Nehemiah. And I want to go to Nehemiah chapter 13. Verse 25. And this is Nehemiah, who was a judge over the people, who was holding forth on the subject. Let's pick up at the 23rd verse there. Last chapter in Nehemiah. And this is Nehemiah speaking about what he saw in those days.
In those days, I also saw Jews who had married women of Ashdod and...
Hey, this is for you, Sister Dorothy, the Nehemiah. That's why I thought I'd play it. Right here, Nehemiah, right? Here we go.
And Moab.
So these are some of the other people around. They weren't in that list of 7 from before, but the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Ashdodites, and so on. And so what does he say about that?
And half of their children spoke the language of Ashdod.
No.
And could not speak the language of Judah.
Oh.
But spoke according to the language of one or the other people.
Wow. So their children, they were such half-breeds that they're not even speaking Jewish. They're speaking Ashdodi or whatever it's called. Okay, go on.
So I contended with them.
Says Nehemiah.
And cursed them.
He did?
Struck some of them and pulled out their hair.
Whoa.
And made them swear by God, saying, you shall not give your daughters as wives to their sons, nor take their daughters for your sons or yourselves.
Go on.
Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things?
Oh.
Yet among many nations there was no king like him, who was beloved of his God. And God made him king over all Israel.
Nevertheless,
pagan women caused even him to sin.
Yeah, those pagan women. The root of all evil, those pagan women.
Now they can laugh. They can laugh all they want, right? They can laugh all they want, but we know those pagan women what are the other nations, you know? So listen, if you believe in your heart, mind, and soul that this message was edifying, please share it with someone so they can be edified. On this Shabbat day, we give all praises, honor, glory, esteem to the Most High Yahweh. And I say the water for everybody that was in here, Brother Timothy, Brother Uziyah, Sister Dorothy, everybody that's in here and everybody that's not in here, whether they made a comment or not. We give praises to our Father Yahweh and His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahushai. And I say the water for everybody being here, right? And may you enjoy the rest of your Shabbat day. Get some rest, enjoy it. And make sure you praise the Most High, man, on this day that He has given us. As always, I close out with the song. Enjoy it. And the link for the song, if you like it, is in the description box. And once again, we say, Kwam Yasharallah. Kwam Yasharallah. Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Here we go.
Nah. Rise up. I fell out, then I bounced back in. Lost my way, then I locked back in. They can't use my fall against me now. Most High brought me out somehow. I was down, now I stand back tall. Real ones get back up when they fall. I came back, I ain't fold nor quit. Now I'm back in the fight legit. Yeah. I got tired of fighting myself. Pain stacked up all on the shelf. Smile outside, but hurt inside. Still had pressure, I tried to hide. Enemy thought I lost my fire. Thought I fell and got retired. But the righteous rise again. I got back and fought again. I had nights I felt defeated. Spirit low and mentally weakened. But I prayed and got my mind right. I moved with my eyes right. Had to cut off their way too. Everybody can't grow with you. And I'm sharper than before. Ain't the same man anymore. Yeah. I fell off, then I bounced back in. Lost my way, and I locked back in. They can't use my fault against me now. Most High brought me out somehow. I was down, now I stand back tall. Real ones get back up when they fall. I came back, I ain't fold nor quit. Now I'm back in the fight, legit. If you slip, then come back home. You ain't gotta stay lost alone. Everybody done took their hits, still got time to repent and fix. Don't let shame destroy your walk. Get back up and fight your thoughts, cause the enemy love when men quit. That's exactly how people get strict. I was low, but I climbed back out. Now I speak what I learned about, and the same grace shown to me can pull you out and set you free. Now I move like I got purpose. Pain made me stronger on purpose. You can hate, but it won't stick, cause I came back built from me. Yeah, I fell, but I ain't stayed up. I broke, but I ain't died, yeah. I fell, but I ain't stayed there. I broke, but I ain't died, yeah. I fell off, I fell off, I fell off, I fell off. I fell off, then I bounced back in. Now I'm stronger cause I fought through sin. You can't weaponize my past no more. Most High open back that door. If I came back, then you came too. Truth still real and the word still true. Now I'm back in my faith, legit. On my own and I'm built for this. Built for this. Yeah.